there's a banality that we forget. Almost everybody in the AI world is American.
CNBC just dropped a jaw-dropping interview with Alex Karp. You have to check this out.
And then almost everyone who's doing kind of munitions and targeting at scale with hardware and software is also American. And another advantage we have is we can just transform our industry because we have exceedingly agile CEOs and work environments, unlike Europe. And so what we're basically seeing across the legislative and DoD is people saying, wait a minute, we need to do a lot more of this. We need to see partnerships.
Speaking of agile work environments, I mean, you just talked about the fact that you have this next program. One of the things in this release, you're going to hit your cost-saving targets a year early.
Right.
You are also a commercial customer of Palantir.
Absolutely. As
well. So when at a time where more broadly investors and company CEOs are saying, okay, application layer of AI, where's it going to go in my company?
Collaboration is key, but the urgency Karp highlights is equally crucial. The push for rapid AI deployment in the military isn't just a trend, it's a strategic necessity. If the U.S. doesn't speed up these partnerships, rivals like China could outpace us in crucial tech capabilities.
How am I going to deploy it? How much am I going to invest? And most importantly, what's my return on investment going to look like? What are you seeing at L3Harris?
We're seeing great progress. So we've laid out a transformation of the company. We call it LHX Next. First phase was really focused on cost takeout. We're going to meet those goals, beat them and exceed them. The second phase is transforming the company, right? And in the old days, you just blow up your system, spend hundreds of millions of dollars, and shut everything down for years. We have hundreds of systems, ERP systems, finance, labor, manufacturing. The Foundry product has the ability to extract the data, knit it together, and get it to us in real time. So we're getting data timely and accurate. We're able to make data-based decisions. It ultimately leads to a better company, more agile company, more profitable. It's been a great partnership. This is something that's going to change for the benefit of the shareholders and our customers.
Palantir, third best company, third best performer in the S&P 500, even though it's a new entrant. A lot of analysts don't necessarily fully understand, I think, what you do on all aspects, but investors certainly seem to get it, particularly on the commercial side. I realize there's been a re-acceleration in the U.S. government business, but the commercial business is really what's propelling the stock. What are you seeing, especially as you do have these artificial intelligence platform boot camps and adoption levels?
If you want to manage large language models or AI, the infrastructure that allows you to manage them is where the actual value is. The large language model is essentially a commodity that you can value and use depending on cost and veracity. And they completely don't get it. But you know who does get it? Our commercial American customers. And despite the fact that we barely have a sales team and that I'm providing my pontifications of truth, including America's a great country, which many of them don't like, our allies deserve protection, Israel is in the right, whatever is pissing them off, they're still buying the product. And the reason they're buying it is because our ontology and our AIP allow you to deploy and use AI in a way where it changes your margins, it changes your go-to-market, it changes your ability to kill or take out adversaries in a much safer way with much lower costs. And American companies are dynamic and interesting and run by some of the best people in the world.
Alex makes a critical point here. The agility of American companies, especially in tech, isn't just about innovation. It's about having the freedom to take risks. That's a distinct advantage when compared to more heavily regulated markets like Europe. The ability to pivot quickly could be a game changer when it comes to integrating AI in defense.
Some of whom are much better at partying cooler than you'd ever imagine on TV, and they adopt. And so, you know, it's like, do you want to believe what the librarian says about a book, or do you want to go out in the world and see if it works? And we are in the business of making our commercial customers work. And sure, yeah, we have a ton of player haters. Keep hating on us. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, final question for both of you, really. I'm not going to get into the election specifically, but when you look out to 2025, no matter what that outcome looks like, what are the key areas, whether it's regulation, whether it's defense spending, whether it's something else, what are the key areas of policy that are going to need to be addressed?
Well, look, I've said it before, the whole ecosystem needs to be on a wartime footing, right? We need a budget. I've said before on the show, China and Russia don't have continuing resolutions. We need a budget. We need the DoD to award contracts quicker. I don't care if they're commercial or traditional defense. I think there's huge opportunities to allow our company and other companies to be treated as a commercial enterprise. Everybody in DoD and DC loves commercial companies. Put out the RFP, let us propose, make a decision, and let's move quickly. And then, of course, you know, we have all in industry have been building up capacity. There's not enough capacity in the defense industrial base for the demand that we need. So I think let's get a budget, let's make some awards, give us a chance to execute. I think the future is hardware, software, and AI. I think we're well positioned for the long term. I couldn't be more excited to be here with Alex and be a partner of Palantir.
How do you bring violence to our enemies while using ethical standards that the West believes in? So when do you attack? Under what conditions do you attack? Do you attack if there's civilians? How many civilians? In what area? What radius to schools? How do you make sure that the people we're hitting are our actual adversaries? How do you take out the dumb, but leave the intelligent generals alive that are kind of misaligned with their own country and take out the idiots, or vice versa? These things are really important decisions. And then for Americans watching this, Americans want to know that their dollar spent is a dollar well spent, whether that's in the DoD or any other place.
Karp's point resonates with the increasing demand for accountability. As taxpayers, we expect transparency and efficiency, especially when it comes to defense spending. Palantir's involvement in AI for defense shows a promising direction for using technology to not only enhance capabilities, but also to justify every dollar spent.
So commercial entities, commercial companies that are also patriotic, or in our case, patriotic first and commercial equally, are important also for the integrity of our country. Every single person is wondering, okay, of course I want the best war system in the world, and I want something our adversaries couldn't replicate. What did it cost? What were the margins? Did it work? Is this something that is commercially viable? Would a commercial entity ever buy this? Those are very legitimate and important questions for the integrity of our society, and our partnership goes a long way to answering them, because quite frankly, there are some rooms where I'm more welcome, mostly people who are investors in Palantir, or often, in many cases, on the battlefield, and there are some rooms where they would rather talk to Chris, and I'd rather have them talk to whoever they'd rather talk to. We need to get the best product on the battlefield, and that often requires partnership.
Karp's emphasis on partnerships shows the reality of modern defense. No single company can do it all. When Palantir collaborates with other entities, it's not just about selling software. It's about leveraging different strengths to deliver the best possible outcome for the military. It's a strategic necessity, especially in AI, where innovation moves quickly, and collaboration often determines who leads and who follows.
What are the lessons learned, to the extent you can talk about them, about AI deployed on the battlefield? I think about the Middle East, where CENTCOM's using Maven. Palantir's involved in that program. It's now being deployed to other parts of the world as well. Just today, the White House issuing this national security memorandum on AI, talking about that, the fact that they need more AI deployed more quickly to the warfighter in military context, but that there need to be guardrails in place as well.
When we took over Maven, it was, I mean, AI was viewed as a joke. We took it over because Silicon Valley notoriously thinks the job of Silicon Valley is to get rich first and to not support our warfighters. So we took that over, and then what the DoD, and I'm very happy to see Jake Sullivan writing about, it's very important, has learned is the being able to identify and take out our adversaries in a way that's more precise, quicker, and more lethal.
This precision-based approach to AI-driven warfare is where Palantir can really differentiate itself. The ability to rapidly process and act on intelligence data means making smarter decisions on the battlefield. But we need to ask, how do we maintain that edge if other nations start adopting similar technology?
Than anyone else in the world gives us a structural advantage. America and the way we organize things is something we are willing to fight for. And then once you've articulated, we are going to fight for our way of life, a lot of decisions follow. And then how do you fight for it in the DoD context? Well, if hardware, software, hybrid AI is our advantage, then maybe you should look at, like, okay, well, who are the people who do it? Buying software and AI from somebody who's never built any system that's ever worked, or buying it from a PowerPoint, or not having a commercial vendor preference is literally suicide. So, But the first thing is to say, and then I would start renaming things. It's like, I don't understand why we have a Department of Defense. We should have a Department of Offense. And the other, I personally believe we have to have red lines, and then we should go ahead and violate them to show people how serious we are. Why do we wait till our enemies attack? It makes no sense. It does not lead to peace. You have this famous thing, it's a paradox of thrift, where if you oversave, you get poorer, which every progressive learns. It's tattooed on our bodies. There's a paradox of violence.
The paradox Karp mentions is a controversial yet thought-provoking concept. It challenges the conventional view of deterrence. The argument suggests that showing strength through decisive action, even preemptively, could actually lead to a more stable world. But how do we draw the line between necessary force and excessive aggression?
If you never use violence, the world gets more violent. And so we need patriotism and competence and a willingness to use violence. And I don't know why we wait till people get up and hurt us, kidnap us. And last but not least, as I've said over and over, if you touch an American citizen, we will go after you. We'll go after your assets. We'll go after everything. We'll keep on going for generations. We cannot allow people to just kidnap and kill Americans wantonly and then say we're going to have a memorandum at the United Nations, essentially an academic institution that pushes papers for despots. So we really need to change our footing on this. And by the way, we're in a position to do it because our economy is the strongest in the world. We're the only people producing AI. We have the best CEOs in the world, and we have the best warfighters in the world.
Karp's comments about American readiness and AI integration leave us with a crucial question. Are we truly prepared to lead the next wave of technological warfare? It's not just about having the best tools or the smartest people. It's about creating a culture that's willing to use these advantages when it matters most. As we look to the future, the U.S. must decide whether it wants to remain on the defensive or take a more proactive stance in shaping global security. This isn't just about AI. It's about redefining what it means to be a world leader in the 21st century.